Now, welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. It's Monday. It's the Monday mashup. Plenty to talk about. Full slides of Ref Watch, no doubt, incoming. A mad weekend for both cards and reds and unusual refereeing interference and all that kind of stuff. But as always, we'll start the show with our sponsors for the Monday mashup, Marky. Of course,
Yes,
holding the lead
lads.
trophy.
Yeah. Look, I keep saying, go on to Instagram, gives a follow, Facebook gives a follow and a like. Um, just trying to get all the follows and likes up. So yeah, kept going. Like I was saying before, getting loads of bookings for next year already and stuff like that. Just got booked for another wedding now next August and stuff. So yeah, it's only down the road, the Springfield Hotel here in League Slip and stuff. So yeah, if you have any events coming up, lads, particularly over Christmas, New Year, give us a shout. Any local clubs that are looking for like say fun days or fundraisers or stuff like that. I was talking to Alfie down in Ballyulster there on Thursday, so there could be something coming up next year for a bit of fundraising for the club as well. And yeah, funny enough, I was over with my mum and dad on Saturday, and I took a stroll down to the old pitches in Rosemount, and there's a few matches on. My uncle Tommy's team were playing. Uh, um, he's managing the under 13s, I think it is now. So from senior football right the way down, he can't stop. Like, he's in his 70s, but he just loves it like so much. But we went down there, had a kick about with George and stuff, and I was talking to Jerry, the secretary down there, Jerry Coughlin. They have a few things going up next year, so I said I'd bring the trophies over and stuff. And they got the first team pitch relayed, so they'll have to wait till next August. You have to give it about 14 months or so, so they'll have to give it till next August till they're playing it. But they have a few things coming up, which I was talking to Jerry, sounds really good. But yeah, it was great to see some of the schoolboy football being played down Rosemount again. It's brilliant, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And hats off to Tommy as well, of course. You know yourself, you give that kind of thing up, then what the hell do you do with your time if that's what you love?
That's the
You know
thing,
what I
and
mean? So,
it's funny, you know, when my and dad's house is in Roseville, it's not too far from the pitches, and you could just hear Tommy's voice from my man and dad's front gardens. I was like, "Come on, we go for a stroll up to the field." So the
brilliant.
nice little kick about with the girls there. We went over and got some ice cream and roebuck and stuff. So no, it was good, really good.
The ma was in the house and you will you go up and tell Tommy to shut up there?
Yeah. They drew as well. Both teams were unbeaten. I can't remember who they were playing, but it was a 1-1 draw. It was good. And then the game after that was the under 15s Rosemount team were playing Blessington, so we watched a little bit of that as well. It was really good. I think they ended up in a 4-0 or something in the end. So, but
Brilliant.
it's really good. Like I said, see schoolboy football back down there, you know.
Absolutely. Excellent stuff. Listen, before we start the show, I know you want to probably give a shout out to this as we all do.
Yeah,
Sad time at Blackpool, of course, with Steve Bruce, his 4-month-old grandson Madison passing away tragically. Just you
terrible
take it away.
news.
You take it away. You're the black.
Yeah, no, terrible news. Obviously, when I found out that time, I texted the other day and stuff like that, and they paid a great tribute to the family on Saturday, and then in the fourth minute of the match on Saturday, um, both sets of support. And fair play to Barnsley. The fans were absolutely immense. They were singing Steve Bruce's name in the fourth minute and clapping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of impromptu. Obviously, it was set up with the home fans, but the ball went out for a throw in, and the referee actually stopped play then. So they all applauded from the fourth minute for a minute for
Right.
the Bruce family and for
Mm.
young Madison, you know. So terrible news, but like I said, in fairness, fair play to the Barnsley fans. They were absolutely brilliant on Saturday and before the match, and as I say, in the fourth minute. And it's just a pity they couldn't get the result. Obviously, beaten 2-1, a late goal conceded. So, but yeah, thoughts and prayers to Steve and all the whole family, you know.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed with the outreach from the whole football community in the
Yeah.
UK, to be honest. I thought it was massive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's gas. We were only on a podcast last week talking about being up in the graveyard and seeing so many young kids being buried.
Yeah, do you
How
remember that?
tough it is
Yeah.
to say. We were right talking last Monday on
Yeah.
the show about it, you know.
Yeah.
So of course, our thoughts and prayers and everything else go out to Stevie and the family and everyone else associated with it. So when it's a kid, it's just heart wrenching. It's just like we don't want to see anyone pass away, but when it's a kid, so young, 4 months old,
4 months old, it's terrible, isn't it? Like
life is so can be so tough at times, you know. Joanne's in the chat. Big up, Joanne. Thanks for joining us tonight.
How are you, Joanne?
You can have the 3 points now for Sunday. Joanne, don't be offering me up to 3 points now just because you have injuries and you're saying how good we were against Chelsea.
I
Don't be.
say,
You were tipping Chelsea to win last Thursday on the show. Don't be jumping on board now, Joanne.
Joanne was watching the Arsenal game from behind the sofa on Saturday evening, was she?
I think that's why Joanne watches most of the Arsenal games because she's not an Arteta fan.
I know,
So
yeah.
she's
I
good.
think, listen, I think he's probably a bit closer to the door than he had been a while back, but trust the process.
That's it, yeah. What phase? What phase? Right, let's do. We're going to do a Premier League review. We're going to also touch on the League of Ireland as well. What a night on Friday night and Saturday as well. So we'll touch on that. It's getting very close now, and I have one dazzler on board that if it gets tight for the last day of the season, the three of us are doing a watch along, and we're going to pick a match each. And this is going to. We've never done a watch along on the show before, so this is going to be.
Well,
This is going
you
to be
know which
great.
one I'll have to watch now. You know which one I have to watch on the last day.
I would, yeah. I mean, you'd be on shells. You'd be on shells. I would take Rovers, of course.
Good man, good man.
No, it only leaves Darren with it at Pats are Derry. So let's see how it all flushes out.
Well, Shells are playing Derry in the last game. Shells are playing Derry.
Oh, well, there you go. So Barry. So then he gets Pats by
Ah.
default. He gets Pats by default. Him and Grahamo. What a combination, huh? You can whip our arse Sunday. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be. I know where I want to stick the process.
Good woman, Joanne. Good woman.
Love it, Joanne. Love it, Joanne. Right, let's kick off. We'll run down through this Premier League. We'll obviously keep you posted on Forest and Palace. Two teams dealing with very different stuff on opposite ends of the spectrum, of course. Start off Tottenham 4, West Ham 1. West Ham taking the lead under Kudus, Kulicheski, Basuma, Areola with an OG, and Son on 60 minutes around out 4-1. Now, obviously, we'll touch on the red card during the ref watch, but thoughts on the game?
Yeah, obviously West Ham started off decent enough. Spurs got back into it and really just kind of shrugged them off, didn't they? They even look comfortable, even like the sending off was obviously late, and we'll get into it. But Spurs look comfortable there in the second half, and a lot of pressure on West Ham and particularly the manager now. You know, I think we're playing them on Sunday at 2. I think it's 2:00 on Sunday. Because of obviously the Europa League games on Thursday night and stuff. So, yeah, no, I was watching, like I said, I was over my man Daz on Saturday, and obviously my man's a West Ham fan, so we had a match on and stuff. So, bitterly disappointing result for West Ham.
Yeah, I think it's a struggle at the moment because I think Lopetegui at the moment he just can't find where he wants that starting 11 and how he puts it together. And you know, you've got Bowen kind of playing through the middle that probably should be out on the right. But you can't put him out on the right because I think that's where they play Kudus. It's just a little bit it's a little bit all over the place at the moment, and you can feel the tension in the West Ham faithful as well. The Hammers, they're not happy with the way things are going, but we keep an eye on it. Obviously, Spurs, coming back with that win and stuff like that, that's what they need. And of course, Son coming back, I think he was out at injury plus international and all that kind of stuff. So back on the score sheet again. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. We had 2 red cards in this game. Very interesting. Again, we'll talk about them. But Raul Jimenez again on the score sheet after 5 minutes taking the lead. Rodgers back with a goal really, really quickly. Watkins on 59 and Jupe on 69 with an OG ending the kind of contest.
How are you, Baz? Good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Yeah, no, listen, Fulham started off very well. Bit of a mistake from Torres at the back and a good finish by Jimenez, by Martinez. Obviously, Raul coming into a bit of form and stuff. It's great to see. He's been scoring goals and been thereabouts with assists and stuff. So, really good to see. Obviously, you know, I would have before this maybe put it down as a draw. Fulham been playing well, but you can never write Villa off. Villa are so strong, you know. What a header from Watkins, by the way, unbelievable, wasn't it? Like, you know. And obviously the penalty incident as well, you know, great save by Martinez, could have swung the game in Fulham's favour. So great 3 points on the road from Emery. Obviously he'll have a suspension to deal with for one game now. But they just keep picking up points. They're just tipping away, you know. They're I wouldn't say going under the radar, but you know, not many people are talking about kind of, I wouldn't say title. It's kind of too early for that, but Jesus, they're doing everything right at the minute, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are beginning to find that balance between kind of European football and the league as well, which is
Exactly,
it's good
exactly.
to
That's
see.
half
Now,
the battle, isn't it?
obviously the sending offs cause a problem there because
Mm,
obviously you don't have as many options in terms of your
mm,
rotation and what you want to do and stuff like that. But yeah,
exactly.
Emery doing a real good job there. Next up, United 2, Brentford 1. Pinnock with the goal. We'll talk about that obviously
Mm,
as part of ref watch and stuff like that. But the two goals, Garnacho, fantastic goal, great finish. And then Hoyland. Can someone tell me on that Hoyland goal, what in God's name was Nathan Collins doing up in the corner
I
there
know.
trying to clear that
Yeah,
ball? Ball cleared out to United, barely through the half.
yeah,
Ball played into Ericsson, played into Fernandez, skip around the corner, into Hoyland, little scoop over the keeper.
yeah.
Like Nathan Collins for me at the moment, there's a few questions creeping in there. We do like him as a player, and we
Mm.
certainly liked him as Ireland captain last week and stuff like that. But some
But
fundamental mistakes being made there, And I hear Thomas Frank after it again, and he's talking up a lot of really good stuff in the first half, not so good in the second half. This can sometimes be the story of Brentford's games,
yeah,
where they was
and
kind of wilt.
and in fairness, Collins made that mistake for Ireland against Finland away that time that led to their goal as well and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I thought, yeah, first half, I was watching it with my dad. I thought we played all right. We created some chances. I thought Garnacho at one stage should have tested the keeper. He hit it completely wide from the left hand side, and yeah, you could see Brentford were they'd only two corners, I think, in the whole game or something. And we'll talk about the other incidents, but from the corner, Dallo, what in God's name is he doing? We should how he does how keep him on. I think you know yourself, Cuz, and everyone in the chat will know from schoolboy level. When you're marking from a corner, you pick a man and stick with him. You don't let him run off. You stick with him. Do everything you can, jostle him, do whatever, to put him off jumping up for a header. Because if you know he's jumping and you can't jump, you do something to prevent it. Dallo didn't do that. He's at the edge of the box with Pinnock. Pinnock makes the run and he stops. And I don't know why lads do it. Dallo, he hasn't, obviously he had a great season last season and stuff, but
This is a number of times this season he's done this now.
I was just going to say, he great.
Absolutely switching off,
He
switching
just
off.
he forgets he's a defender sometimes, because
Mm.
don't get me wrong, great going forward, blah de blah. And I spoke about it on here before. If you had a balance of Wan-Bissaka and him in the one player, Bissaka was great going back and tracking back, but couldn't do anything in the final third. But Dallo's great at going forward, but just his lack of defending this season has been shocking. And it's a free header in the 6-yard box. Brentford go into the break with a 1-0 lead, and then you think at half time, I don't know what Ten Hag said to them, but in the second half he came out of the traps flying. A goal just before half time or in injury time in the first half can usually knock the confidence of a team, and I think we came out a completely different team in the second half. We did have some good attacks in the first half, but we looked more threatening in the second half going forward. It was a great ball by Rashford over to Garnacho, tidy fin. That ball coming over, that can be a difficult finish, that could end up in Rowe's head, but I thought he took it very, very well. And like you said, yeah, we got lucky with the second goal with the defender from Brentford, but I think even at 2-1 in the second half, I don't think Brentford threatened us enough to come away with a draw. I think we made some really good attacks in the second half to even, we should have killed it off basically. But yeah, listen, a great win in the end. Going into it, I was a bit worried because of the obviously Brentford. We know how quick they've been scoring goals in games and stuff like that.
And everything else going on, of course.
Oh yeah,
And
100%.
everything else.
So for me, it was a great win. 2-1 probably doesn't tell the whole tale, but listen, it's 3 points that we'll take. And like I said, going into a tough game against West Ham now on Sunday.
Yeah, it could have been a 5-3 game. It could have been a
Yeah.
4-2 game. It could have, like Garnacho missed a sitter in the first half, right in the middle of the goal and stuff.
Yeah, and Anana pulled off some good saves as well, which I have
Mm.
to tip my hat off to him for as well. But like I said, just that Dallo defender, man. Just
We said it last week, didn't we? Onana's probably United's most improved player.
yeah, absolutely. Now, like I was really trying to get rid of him at one stage and his antics, and especially remember the statement we talked about that he came out at the start of the season and stuff. But I don't know, since he's made that statement, it's like he's gotten his head screwed on a little bit more, and he's probably matured a little bit over the summer.
Well, you can find as well, stepping into the Premier League is a daunting task at time, and then the weight of the United jersey to carry that as well, and
Yeah,
you're stepping in where David De Gea has stepped out as well. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So
exactly.
it's a lot to carry, but I mean, once you get settled, his biggest problem at the moment is he can't find a back forward that's stable.
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
he's dealing with different guys all the time. If you can get people fit, keep them fit, and nail down a back forward that you want to use and stuff like that, you'll probably see even a better on hand because there'll be more confidence there and stuff. You know.
I'm gonna just big up the licht as well. I know we'll talk about the incident now, but I thought he had a really good game. Considering he got the head injury so early on in the game, and he continued on, and I thought he did very well.
Yeah, he did. He did, and you could see by the reaction, and we'll talk about it later, how much he wanted it and how pissed off he was at the goal. Like you know,
It,
so
it reminded me of like a Vidic performance from back in the day and stuff like that. I know there's pictures going up of the two lads with Coach Vidic and him, but just his
mm.
performance in general reminded me very much so of Nemanja Vidic back in the day.
Yeah. Next up, Newcastle 0, Brighton 1. Danny Welbeck with the goal, but then going off injured, sucking a little bit on the gas on the way off
Yeah,
as well. Goal on 35 minutes. Welbeck has been outstanding this season.
brilliant. Oh, big one.
Myself and Darren spoke about him on Thursday night, actually on the preview as well, how good he's been.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe maybe wishing he had taken the England job. Who knows? But let us know your thoughts on this one.
To me, it's Newcastle dominated the first half. The amount of
Mm.
chances they had, Isak should have had 2 or 3 in this game. Gordon as
Coming,
well.
coming
Mil-
back after a broken toe, isn't it? Coming
yeah,
back after a
yeah.
broken toe.
But
So,
he had some chances.
mm.
Gordon was the same. You look at it, and like I said, it was a dominant performance by Newcastle. Brentford or Brighton took their opportunity. They got lucky with an error at the back from Newcastle, and Welbeck took it away into the corner nicely and held on. And to me, it was a great defensive performance in the second half as well by Brighton. But like I said, I think Newcastle, if you were a fan there watching in St James's Park, on Saturday, be very, very frustrated leaving there, knowing the amount of chances he created and didn't take.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out as well. Fabian Husler, the manager for Brighton as well. What an outstanding job he's doing in
He's
there. And
only a young lad as well,
only a
isn't
young lad as well, but his post-match interviews, you should tune into them. They're
he? Yeah,
really, really, the breakdown and the technical way in which he talks about things, stuff like that, is really, really good.
class.
Really, really good. Next up, then we had Southampton and Leicester. Another madness. Southampton 2-0 up, Archer and a Rebo. Buenanete on 64, Vardy on 74 with the pen, of course, we'll talk about. And
Mm,
one Jordan Ayew on 90 plus 8. Now, Darren had picked out on Thursday night Leicester with a tight win.
yeah.
And as I was driving home on this, and he was updating, he was going, Leicester now 2, it's all square. Player sent off. Leicester scored 98 minutes and he was jumping around. He was so delighted because he had picked Leicester for a tight win and stuff like that.
It was a mad game, wasn't it?
Crazy.
Obviously
Crazy.
the first time Southampton have taken a convincing lead since they came up in a game, and to give it away the way they did. Listen, Leicester for the 2 Southampton goals, our back four were split open. Very bad defending. Um,
Mm.
But yeah, the likes of Oyu and Vardy pulled them out of a situation, and they created a good few chances as well. Leicester, they tested the keeper. I think they hit the bar and the post at one stage, and you just felt it was coming. And yeah, we'll talk about the incidents obviously for the penalty and the sending off and stuff. But absolute fantastic win for Leicester. I don't know, did you see the video of your man who played Roy Cropper in Coronation Street in the crowd and
Yes,
stuff?
in the crowd. Yeah, very good.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
We sent
yeah,
it to Yvonne.
yeah.
Obviously, Yvonne watches
That's
Corrie and
awesome.
stuff. She thought it was brilliant,
Yeah, yeah.
and in fairness, I didn't think he was a Leicester fan, so I learned something new on Saturday. But
There you go.
unbelievable win for Leicester, 98 minute. Could have been different again. Oyu, I thought, was very lucky not to concede a penalty the other end for pulling the shirt and stuff like that. So yeah, unreal, and they'll take the confidence into last area. Just thinking about Vardy at the fans and stuff. Did you see him? And then the
Oh,
picture of him beforehand in the tunnel drinking the Red Bull and all. He's some man. He's some man.
he's the ultimate shithouse, isn't he? He's
It's
the
brilliant though.
ultimate shit, but
Brilliant. Like,
absolutely 100%. Next up, Ipswich 0, Everton 2.
mm,
My thoughts coming out of this was if Ipswich keep on defending this way, they're not going to be in this division very long.
no.
The defending was hopeless, but I thought as well. I was looking at the physicality of Everton and the size of their players and stuff like that. And I was looking at the Ipswich side and I was thinking, they're a bit weak, aren't they? They're a bit
Yeah.
light, They got bullied there on Saturday.
It is, and it's tough for them because you think about it. This time 2 years ago, they were in League One. You know that they've evolved into a Premier League team over 2 years, and that can be tough in itself. You know, to get to the level, you obviously get from the Championship to the Premier League, but to sustain the level of play in the Premier League, it's tough for a team like I said that were just in League One 2 years ago. They're very good going forward. Like they'll obviously the Lap and Hutchinson and stuff like that going forward, yeah, but they are very weak at the back, and particularly like you look at take nothing away from Everton. 2 Everton goals were unbelievable, particularly Keane's finish. That was a
Did,
striker's
did,
finish.
did we ever think he had that in his locker?
I wouldn't
That
mind. I think
was
he's
a
done it.
finish.
I think he's done it before this season at home, if I'm not mistaken. But like it, goal. Chris Wood, is it? Oh, keeper should have done better there, man. He's about 25 yards out. He's after hitting one, gone into the bottom left hand corner. 1-0, 64th minute to Forest.
So like your
Great
video
finish.
yesterday from Mulhuddard.
Yeah, did you see it? It was Bluebell against Maynooth.
No bell
But
against
sorry, I was saying there about everything. Yeah, Keane, great finish. You know yourself, because looking at back, I think the keeper should have had that near post covered for Keane's shot. But Everton, yeah, the great win on the road. How are you, Will?
Big up William,
Yeah,
big up Ted. Wood with a screamer there.
how are you, Ted? I'm
Makes
just
a
looking
change
at it
from
here now.
headers, doesn't it? Makes a change from headers.
The keeper maybe should have done a bit better there. But
Yeah, I was looking at the match and I was looking like the Lap looked so frustrated. So did Omari Hutchinson as well. But I seen Omari Hutchinson on the right hand side at one side running in with the ball. And it was as if Everton were playing like an underage team.
yeah,
The difference in
now
the size and the power was
yeah.
unbelievable.
No, it was, but like I said, it is tough for Ipswich. I would love to see them stay up. Obviously, Kieran's doing a great job there, but it is tough for the team. They've jumped up 2 leagues in 2 years, basically, and it's obviously they're finding it very difficult at the minute. But they have done well against the likes. Think of the results they got against the likes of Fulham and Villa at home and stuff, and you're looking at Everton, and they're the type of games they need to be taking points from. Everton are thereabouts around them. You know, they're going to be there fighting relegation this season, Ipswich, and you know they're the home games you need to be taking points from.
Yeah, that's what was my overriding thought coming out of it. That's a real opportunity missed there. Now I know Everton have been turning things around a bit, and they
Yeah,
have been looking better as of late and stuff like that. But when you're going to Portman Road and stuff like that, that's where you have to try and pick up points all the time. Otherwise, you will get detached very quickly.
yeah,
Next up,
yeah.
then we move into the half-5 kickoff. Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Obviously, the Saliba sending off affected it greatly, but I have to say,
Mm.
even prior to the Saliba sending off, Arsenal they weren't pulling up any roots, to be honest. In fairness, there wasn't. I think up till that point, I think it was in the 30th minute when he got the sending off or something like that.
Yeah, it
He
was.
hadn't. He hadn't. I don't think they'd had a shot on target or something like that. I was reading or something.
And
So
I think they'd won in the 90 minutes. Like that's
mm,
madness. Obviously, Saka wasn't playing. Odegaard wasn't playing. Two fixtures. Yeah,
yeah,
two right aces. Yeah. So obviously, it's obviously when they're playing that when they're in the pump playing the type of football they do. You know, Odegaard and Saka are a big part of that, and take them out of the equation, and you see what happens. But yeah, even before the sending off, like you said, I thought Bournemouth created a few chances. After that, they looked very, very comfortable, you know. And obviously, the penalty was a penalty, and the other goal from the corner was a very well worked set piece. I thought, you know, great finish as well. It was.
William, they let more than you down. There was a bunch of backers came through.
So what?
A big
Will
ones.
Yeah, Will text me. Will text me on Saturday. He could cash out before it, and I said, "Ah, no, they should win it." Then I seen the sending off. I was like, "Oh, shit." I was like, Will, don't listen to me ever again."
Yeah, Saka
Um,
is irreplaceable.
he is all right, but no, it was a great win. The vitality was hopping on Saturday evening, and like I said, I know. Listen, the sending off obviously helped, but Bournemouth looked in cruise control then, Great win for them. Unbelievable.
Should Arsenal? Okay, Saliba got sent off. Okay, so you rejig things around a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you stabilize things a little bit, but it never kind of felt that way. It felt
Yeah,
like once Saliba got sent off, there was like a capitulation and a collapse, and
yeah,
Bournemouth then looked so strong. Whereas you would expect a team at that level like Arsenal, City, Liverpool, you'd expect them if they get down to 10 men to kind of refocus and try and see it out, at least try and get a draw or whatever
yeah.
it is.
Or nick a goal on the counter. Obviously,
Potentially,
Bournemouth
yeah.
would be going up against you hard and strong against 10 men and just trying to nick one on the counter. I don't know what Joanne thought watching it, but I just thought they dropped their heads. It's I was the same, Ted. I was the same. I should have taken him out myself. But do you know what? It's their third red card in the last 8 games. It's discipline and stuff like that. You have to look at Arteta for that. But um, I
Sure.
was yeah,
If
I was
Solanke was playing, it wouldn't have changed anything. Sure, he plays for Spurs.
yeah, exactly.
That wouldn't have had any effect on the
But
match.
no, I 100% agree with you because I was expecting a bit from Arsenal. Obviously, you're down to 10 men. It's that early on in the game. You're not completely going to shut up shop. You make it a little bit tighter, a little bit more hard to play against. And then, like I said, try to nick one, try to catch Bournemouth on the
Mm,
counter because it's going to push and push at you.
mm.
It just didn't happen. And,
And
from an Arsenal.
that's no disrespect to Bournemouth. Bournemouth are playing really good
No,
football at the moment under
100%.
Areola. And like the
100%.
vitality is a tough place to go at times and stuff like that. But
100%.
if you have aspirations on winning the league, you see what City had to do the other day in
Yeah.
their game and stuff like that. They're the moments that you go and you win the league. If you don't do those things, that's where you fall short.
Yeah.
That's a game you look back on.
Big time, and you look at the last, and like I said, particularly the last few games they played, and they've been down to 10 men. I think they've dropped 7 points or something from those games.
Drop points in all three where they've
Yeah.
got reds. Yeah,
So it doesn't say much for them. I think who they have used this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, they have us this. I think we're probably. It must be the Super Sunday game. I'm not too sure. I would imagine it's Super Sunday. Next up Sunday, Wolves 1, Man City 2. Wolves taking an early lead from Larson on 7. Vardy all coming up on 33 again. What a strike from him.
What a finish, man.
What a strike. And then John Stones crashed the box on the corner with the header. And we will talk about a cross during Ref Watch. I wanted to ask you, though, I felt for Gary O'Neill in the interview afterwards, and he was very clever in the way he put it across. Yeah. Do you think he was talking about, like, subliminally, do officials tend to favor the bigger teams without even realizing? And I think the point he was trying to make, and it was the conversation on our WhatsApp group the other day as well, is if it happened up the other end, would Wolves have got the benefit and got the goal? Or is it like a subliminal thing within the officials that they just favor the bigger teams? Now, I would have said, yes, prior to VAR, you can see where that could happen. But with VAR there now, it should be much more clearer. And it shouldn't be a case of, a subliminal leaning towards one team or the other,
No, I could see what he was trying to do. Obviously, he's planting a seed there, and he can't exactly come out and say, out straight, because he'll be then accusing match officials of cheating, which won't go down too well with the FA and stuff like that. And he'll probably most likely get a fine and a ban. But I thought, let's not take away from Wolves. I thought they played brilliant on yesterday afternoon. Particularly to get the goal as early as he did. It was really well worked goal, played out to the right, whipped across, great finish. And they defended really well. I thought Jose Sa pulled off some really, really good saves. I thought he had a brilliant game. Thought they were tight at the back. City's first goal, there's no stopping that. Great finish from the outside of the left-hand side and whipped it into the top right corner. But City, you just feel it was like the City Arsenal game that time. They keep plugging away and just feel like they're gonna get a goal from somewhere. And I think one of the lads in the chat, I said, you'll get something out of the game, and I felt they deserved at least a point out of that game yesterday. Like I said, they defended really well at times, and Haaland wasn't really in the game, and that says a lot for the Wolves back four.
Yeah, I think there was a number of issues yesterday. I think on one of the crosses that came in, I thought Jose Sa could have dealt with it better, punched it away and not let it go out for another corner. Yeah. I think when you're giving up that many corners, it's mentally perplexing on
Yeah.
you because you're trying to reset from one side to the other, and it's a jumble up and all that, and you can get lost in the mix very quick, and that's where you get a guy like Stones in. I think it was very clever what Bernardo Silva did and stuff like that. And
100%.
I said after the match as well, that's done by design. That's something that they
Ah,
practice.
yeah,
That's not something
absolutely.
they thought up there on the fly and stuff like that.
So you seen
And
Guardiola and Silva after the game. You
yeah,
know, he was explaining exactly,
mm.
and they've
and
obviously worked on it. You know.
I think with Jose Sa as well, I think if you're a keeper of that stature and that size, you have to deal with that better as a keeper. You
Uh,
have to get him away from you
yeah,
way before the corner. And if you can't get him away from you, you call in a player and you say, deal with this guy and get him off me. You know, kind of thing and stuff like that. And
and it's
also,
funny because I don't know if you noticed it in the first half. They were messing around and laughing about it because he was on them, obviously their teammates and stuff like that at the international level, and there was a bit of jostling and stuff, and they were pushing and smiling, and then obviously Silva was doing it from every corner, and you felt something was going to happen, you know, that sort of way.
Acers Holland ain't having a field day against anyone at the moment. He's struggling quite a bit at the minute to get on into games and stuff like that at the moment. I was looking at him there the other day. He was extremely frustrated. He was pushing Wolves players around and all. They were getting in on top of him and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's like we'd expect them to batter Southampton. Let's be honest here, you know. But again, I don't know whether if you look at where the goals are coming from, they're not necessarily coming at times in that front line. You know, Ted's in. Missed the discussion on the United game. What's Mark's thoughts about the crossing in the game? None in the early parts. So Hoyland stopped making runs. Then Nacho started crossing, but he wasn't there.
Mm. Yeah, Garnacho again. Like I said in the first half, he had a few chances where he could have actually crossed the ball into the box, and there's one or two opportunities he should have even tested the keeper out, and he hit it wide and stuff. But it was great ball over by Rashford and an unbelievable finish by Garnacho, because I was just saying, Ted, that's so hard to take them ones, you know, when it's just coming down the way it is. You could put side foot it and it go into Rose head, but I thought he took it very, very well. Hoyland, I don't know what Ted thought. I thought in the second half he looked very tired as well, you know.
He kind of gives you that Duffer kind of vibes, doesn't he?
Do you know what my dad said? That we were watching the build up to the game, and they were shown on MUTV, and then we switched over obviously to Premier Sports. But when we were watching on MUTV in the warm up, he's huffing and puffing, you know.
Yeah, I think he's just that kind of kid. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
but
like
Duffer was
we saying it with Duffer. Duffer after 5 minutes for Blackburn and Chelsea always used to look poleaxed, but he'd have no problem doing 90 minutes. Like,
yeah, and he's still doing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I have it on the slide. Don't worry, it's all in. It's all incoming. It's all incoming. Foden has to be starting in midfield. Yes, yes, I would agree. But this was the thing about this was Wolves, and no disrespect to Wolves who aren't playing really, really well. So it was a good time to make changes, knowing that you're going back into a Champions League week and then into a Premier League fixture again. So it was no harm to make those changes. But when Foden came on, he certainly is a game changer.
Big time. Because I thought Doku and Savino over both wings. I didn't think they had a great first half, and then into the second half they looked kind of more frustrated and stuff like that, you know.
Savio was very good. Very, very good.
He
Some of the
is.
stuff he does is really, really tops. Doku would frustrate the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Doku reminds me of Luis Diaz last season. All the ability in the world and no end product. You know what I mean? Very, very similar. Doku is just a frustrating player. Foden's another scrub.
Love it, Ted. Love it.
Jeez. I thought Hoyland looked tired, but he just looks it. I think he just stopped making the runs because he wasn't getting the cross. Yeah, it's just frustrating.
And then that other blade and toolbox comes on, Xerxes. Don't even get me started, Ted. Me and my dad have ranted about him the other day.
There was talk. I was listening to one of the podcasts today or something like that, and there was talk that they thought maybe he should have stayed at Bologna another year. Probably still needs. He still seems to be in development mode, doesn't he?
He still looks like he's playing in Serie A. Like I said before, he's just no urgency about him and stuff like that.
Do you know what it is as well? I don't think he likes leading the line.
No, he's not that type of player either. You know.
I think you would need a 9 in front of him and play him as a 10 or something like that.
He could do. It's weird because obviously
so deep.
When you see, like Ted mentioned there, you see Hoyland making all these runs and moving off the ball and stuff, and then he comes on, it's just completely chalk and cheese, So, sorry, Forest just made a sub there. They're on the attack now. Down the left hand side. No, cut out by Palace 12 minutes ago. And then the main event, as they so to speak, now Liverpool and Chelsea. What did you think of it, Cuz?
Yeah, I did. I did the recap this morning and I uploaded and stuff like that. I thought it was a really, really good game. I thought it was a really good tactical battle. Um, I am one to put up my hand and say I'm shocked at the development of Chelsea in the first 8 games.
Yeah,
I was one who turned around and said it would take Maresca at least 10 games to figure out exactly what he wants to do, and that it would
yeah,
be a struggle up to that point. I think they've done really, really well. I still think there's things he has to deal with. I still think Palmer Central isn't as good a fit as Palmer on the wing. I think
yeah.
Palmer on the wing is more effective, but again, you have to make different decisions about that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when Neto came on, he's much more direct in his play and they were much more aggressive. Obviously, it was kind of a makeshift back four because obviously they had players out, the likes of Cucurella, who's been excellent, Wesley Fofana, who's a mainstay in there in central defence and stuff like that. So they obviously had to play around with a few bits there. Good to see Reece James back and not getting injured and all that kind of stuff. So that's good for that lad as well. He's a top player and stuff like that. So there's a lot to like about what Chelsea are doing at the moment. I said the only difference in yesterday's game, the difference between winning and losing, was just experience. They only had 2 players over the age of 24. And the only difference, I think, was we just had more experience on the pitch in certain moments. I think we're looking at the moment like a really, really balanced team between defence and forward line is so balanced. There's a calmness and a control about us, whether we're in or out of possession. There's not that anxiety that's in there. I spoke about it today in the recap where I spoke about if Chelsea had to come out, I said on the preview that it would be Jackson who would split the line and score the goal. Took his goal really, really well. Konate unlucky with the trailing leg to keep him on side. But I think after that, I was looking at it and I was thinking, this Liverpool side, if you see the way they play, they offer up the ball to the opposition because they're quite confident in the ability that's there. You have a lot of players now that are realising their ability and playing within that ability and stuff like that. Gravenberch has been outstanding in the 6.
I thought Jones had a great game yesterday.
Jones had a phenomenal game yesterday. What a week. Had a baby during the week, then scores the winner in front of the Cop. What more? How good a week is that?
That's unreal, isn't it?
Trent is looking like a defender. So what we've done is we've sacrificed a little bit of the forward play to make sure he's a defender.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed with the way Mo Salah and Diaz and Gakpo and Dominic Szoboszlai and all these players are tracking back to defend when it's needed. We've only conceded 3 goals this season, which is phenomenal. I think the nearest to us is 6, which is Nottingham Forest, I think. But there's a lot to like about that. But that was kind of they were talking about it being the first kind of test, which I thought did a lot of the teams we played a disservice because we've had a lot of trouble with a lot of the teams we played. We've seen it with Ipswich,
apart from us.
Forest. Yeah, well, that was a different kind of game. And
up until the offside goal, I thought we looked all right, that sort of way. But any news on Jota, the injury and stuff?
No, I haven't heard anything today now, but it's Leipzig on Wednesday, and we will have a preview for that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, so far so good. It's been a great start to the season. And if you look at the way Arsenal's going and stuff like that, if that's going to continue, there might be a bit of a drop off. If Saka isn't back, if Odegaard doesn't get back, if Saliba's out for the 3 games, like if you think about it, by next Sunday, Arsenal could be 7 points off the top if we were to win at the Emirates. That's quite a gap after 9 games. And I just think if that's the case, I think it'll probably be down to us, maybe us and Villa and Chelsea, to try and keep the league a little bit honest, if you like. Otherwise, I think Man City will just sail away. And it'll just be a very, very boring second half of the season. So I think so far so good. I'd like to get some of the contracts worked out. I said in the recap as well that I think the danger for us at the moment is that we could implode from the inside because of contract renewals and things like that and stuff like that. And obviously injuries is obviously an issue as well because Jota is really, really important too as well. But overall, I thought it was a really, really controlled tactical performance. And I think it was just that bit of experience that we had. Like, Slotter's come into a really, really good team there and a really, really good squad that's quite established. You look at Chelsea, there's a lot of moving and makeshift parts in there at the moment that Maresca's trying to feel his way through. So he's done an outstanding job. And for that to be 2-1 as well, it just goes to show how much Chelsea have progressed. But it also shows as well, how mature we've become as a team under Slot. It looks really, really impressive at the moment. And listen, it's not vintage Liverpool yesterday. You look at Liverpool yesterday, people would say, listen, we never got out of second gear. But I think at that 2-1, I was thinking, if that was Klopp and it was 1-1, you might have this anxiety to go for it and get it over the line. And then you start losing your shape. You abandon the plan. And then you get players like taking shots from 30 yards out and all this kind of thing. Even when Jackson scored that time, we found a way to just stay in control, in and out of possession. And when our opportunity came, we took it. And that was the difference. We took that opportunity and they didn't. And that sometimes can be just down to that little bit more experience.
Yeah.
That's
I thought he's done very well. Very well. It was a great win. Obviously said it was going to be a big test and stuff, but I thought you stood up to them very well. And Chelsea, I would have said the same. I think I predicted before the start of the season that he could be one of the first managers sacked. But he's doing an excellent job, and particularly, the circus that does be involved around Chelsea, not just, on the field of play, but behind the scenes as well.
Everything
I think
else.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's doing an excellent job, and they're going to be a very hard team to play against and build momentum up through the season. And Palmer and Jackson are, let's not talk about yesterday, but I just think before that, particularly against West Ham and stuff, you seen how dangerous they were.
Big up, Ron. Good man.
How are you, Rowan? Jesus, Rowan's alive.
Yeah, you're damn right, Ted. Kwanzaa would have never left that leg trail. Just saying. I said it when we discussed who should have got player of the month last month. I didn't think Palmer had been up to his usual standard, but barred the game with 4 goals, and it was the same yesterday. He's kind of struggled a little bit in the bigger games, and I think what it is you look at the Liverpool game yesterday as well. When Chelsea applied the press and they wanted to press us, Quavian was just kicking it out to Salah or kicking it out to Diaz or Gakpo. And there was a big space there as well. So you had all the time in the world to take the ball down, turn and create then a counter-attack and stuff like that. And by doing that as well, like if you've seen in the first half as well, Palmer was hardly in the game. Lavia looked really good at times, but Palmer was hardly in the game. I was disappointed in Madueke as well. I thought he would have taken much more advantage of Robbo, because I thought Robbo could have been got at yesterday, maybe get a card and stuff like that, and then press on him and stuff like that, but didn't do that. I thought Neto, when he came on, I thought he was extremely direct and stuff like that, and it opened up. I don't know why Nkunku comes on so late, because I think he's a guy who can get you a goal. But I don't know. I look at Cole Palmer. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's really, really talented, stuff like that. But I'd rather see him out on the wing than central. I think in central, he gets kind of a little bit lost in the mix. That's just my view on it.
Oh, Forrest going at it again.
Yeah, Curtis Jones had a fantastic game, Ron. Absolutely fantastic. And we need more of that. We need more of that. That's what we want to see. Just to let you know, folks, 87 minutes gone now. 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Chris Wood on 65. What a season Forest are having under Nuno. I think we'd all tipped them to get on, I think.
And he's in the stand there tonight, obviously after his suspension, and but just obviously Woods went off there a few minutes ago, about 3 minutes ago. I was raging because I'm having me fantasy and I'm having a bad week, so I thought you might try and nick another one. But
I don't know the whole manager sent to the stand kind of thing, whether it makes a difference, because they're all here, Mike.
Big time. Sure, you seen Howard Webb? Oh, Forrest. Howard Webb was even mic'd up there the other day in the stand at the Bournemouth Arsenal game in the Vitality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll keep you updated as the end of that match comes along. So this is how we stand at the moment with the table. So Wolves down the bottom with 1 point, along with Southampton, -13, -12. Crystal Palace in there now. Glasner, decisions to be made. I was listening to an interview there last week about Steve Parish, and he was talking about he wouldn't be beyond pulling the trigger and stuff like that, if that got more detached. And Ipswich just outside it with an additional point. And then we have Everton.
I was going to say, if you had the bottom half just as a slide on its own, we'd be top of the table.
Yeah, I could arrange that for you. Yeah, that's not a problem.
I've a pain in me spaghetti hoop, but looking at the way it is in full,
Eberici essay there with a shot just got blocked. But up top, then Liverpool on top by a point from Man City. Arsenal missed opportunity, obviously, with the Bournemouth situation on 17. Aston Villa joined them on 17, just behind on goal difference. Brighton on 15 plus 4. Chelsea 14 plus 7. And then Tottenham, Newcastle, Fulham, and Bournemouth all make up the top half that you round up for the Prem. Right, let's get into talk about League of Ireland.
Hey.
I'd say last Friday night for me, I had a great night last Friday night. I just sat in and I was flicking from game to game, and it's awesome.
Was unreal, wasn't it?
United off the bottom top, yeah, absolutely. Ted, managers should be sent to the area to fill up the stadium when they are sent off. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Right, give me your thoughts on Friday night. It was kind of as you were. We've had a couple of, obviously with the Shelbourne win, we've had a couple of teams now out of the title race, if
Yeah,
you like.
yeah.
But
It's still mad when you look at it, isn't it? Yeah. Listen, the Rovers draw of the game was going to the wire, basically looking like it would be in a all, and
yeah,
then Watts with an absolute worldie of a goal from about 25-30 yards into the top right hand corner.
cracker.
Unbelievable, and it's a vital 3 points for Rovers there. Now they have Dundalk away in the last game, I think it is, and they're already relegated, so, and they're not playing this week, so they had to pick up 3 points there to, still have their name in the hat, so to speak. So
Yeah.
it was a great win on their part, and but fair play to Drogheda, pushing them all the way nearly to the end. And the Shells game, then Waterford go 1-0 up. We were texting fairly soft penalty, and then we got back into it. Sean Boyd, obviously, with a go on Penno as well. The Penno, a lot of pressure on him.
Just explain to me what the boy Leahy was doing at the back with that ball. What was
Oh,
he doing where Boydie came in? Now, I know Boydie's a much more physical guy than Leahy,
he's
but he
huge,
must have
huge.
had about 5 or 6 touches before he
Yeah,
decided what the hell he wanted to
yeah,
do. Either put the ball out or put it back to the keeper, but make a
yeah.
goddamn decision. It was
Boyd,
absolutely shocking.
Boyd was on fire the other night. I think Duffer said
Yeah.
he was playing with a bit of an edge, and when he plays like that, he's unplayable. And then the penalty situation, like for himself, you seen the Waterford lads go now. Hey, Romy. You seen the Waterford lads go straight over to the penalty spot. Fair play to the referee. The referee stood on the penalty spot because they were obviously messing and stuff. And it was a great penalty. Some might say he was lucky just to get the underside of the bar and in, and then after that, because lately you've been watching them, because Shells have been find it very hard to kill off games and score goals. They've very rarely scored 2 or more goals in a game this season. Under pressure, and I think Burt, what an absolute great finish. First, I thought the keeper might have got a stronger hand to it, but it was great finish and an unbelievable result. And William, if he's still in the chat, was sending me, he was at it, sending me a few videos. The atmosphere at full time was just unbelievable. Keeps us right up there.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed as well, it got a little bit quiet, obviously, when Waterford scored, because I think, obviously, the Shells faithful were thinking, oh, God, here we go again, type of thing, But then once Boydie scored that goal, that place was hopping.
Yeah, and even Conor Kearns pulled off a good save at his leg then at 1-1. If they go 2-1 up, then you're thinking, Jesus, you're up against it again. Particularly, I think Derry had already gone 1-0 up against Dundalk. You always knew they were going to win there. We don't obviously Dundalk with what's been going on and stuff, and obviously there was an incident in the stand. I think I texted, did I, with John and the previous owners had a bit of a scuffle in the stand. So it's like a soap opera down there at the minute in Oriel Park. But then the Pats Galway game, Kieran, one of the lads who works in Jervis, big Pats fan, and I was talking to him on Thursday. He was off on the Friday, he was going down to, and I said, that'd be a cracker of a game. And did you see the Galway goal? Unbelievable. Yeah, it's sold out, and it's on RTE. RTE have announced the bandwagoners have jumped on board for the game next Friday night, or this Friday night, sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's now 6 on the bounce, isn't it?
6, and
on
they're
the
playing
bounce for
and they're playing Derry on Friday as well, so that's going to be another
cracker.
massive game.
Is that home or away?
I think Pats are at home. Let me just double check there. I'm nearly sure Pats are at home. What day are we at? So that'd be Friday 25th.
Pats are at home.
Pats are at home. Yeah. So that's going to be a really, really good game. Some people were saying that should have been on telly, but Shells draw, they're going to be massive. Shells just need to get off to a good start, And
we spoke on Thursday about the situation with Dundalk and Derry and what could potentially happen on the Thursday show. And
Yeah,
I think they've either 5 or 6 ex-Dundalk lads on the books there. And of course, it
yeah,
was Will Patchen who stepped up and scored the penalty, didn't he, for the second
yeah,
goal?
yeah. The
And
second one, yeah,
that must have felt like a real killer. And I tell you, do you know what was heartbreaking? What was heartbreaking as well, and look, someone has to get relegated. It happens.
yeah.
But I was listening to the boy Benson and his
I bet,
interview,
yeah,
and it was really, really tough. It
yeah.
was tough. He was talking about how, I think he mentioned on it how teams find their level and all this kind of thing, and he kind of alluded to all the shite that was going on and stuff like that, and
Mm.
how difficult it was to be around that whole atmosphere and all. It must have been chaos for most of the
Oh, like,
season.
listen,
So,
they went weeks upon weeks without being paid, and then when they started getting paid again by the previous owners, they weren't getting paid the full
mm.
amount and stuff like that.
You
These
were
lads.
talking about catering trucks coming back to take
Oh,
food back and all sorts of stuff.
the
You know
the
what I
the
mean?
catering place were owed 11 grand, it's
Mm,
ridiculous, and these lads have mortgages to pay, it's not as if they're, playing in England and they've all these deals and, stuff like that, sponsorships and all. These lads have mortgages, they're regular Joe Soaps and stuff, and it was tough, and hopefully, from Dundalk and position now, John, obviously the new owner, John Temple's going to have to sort up now. But it's you look at the Division 1 and the top teams up there. Obviously, Cork sailed away with the league. They even bet Wexford 6-0 there on Friday night. Roy Keane was actually down at the game.
Fell for James again
Yeah,
after
yeah,
crashing out of the cup.
yeah,
Then they get
yeah.
a
So,
pace like that.
but I feel for Dundalk. I think he could be looking at probably 2-3 years in the first division before they could get back up. They have to sort their shit out off the pitch and stuff, and it's going to be a difficult time for them. And it's been it's not going to get any better, unfortunately. But as a League of Ireland fan, I like to see them come back up because they're one of the teams you like playing against, and always give you a tough game. But it's like the Leeds situation in England. Remember, Leeds went down. It was a long time before they
Mm,
came back up, and you just
yeah.
missed them from the league. So I'm hoping it won't happen like that. And other news coming out, obviously, I don't know if you read Man City are after Noonan off Pats, young
Yes.
Noonan.
Same that.
Yeah,
Same that. Yeah.
yeah, which
One
is
to watch.
unbelievable.
One to watch.
Yeah, unbelievable. Obviously, Mason was over at City last year on a trial, Mason Mila, for a week or so, and they were looking at him. But obviously, with Noonan and Mila, they have to wait till, because of Brexit, they're gonna have to wait till they're 18 to actually sign for the club. With the Brexit rules and stuff like that. So, but he's definitely one to watch. I don't know. I think I told him, my mate Keith, who manages Manutu. Obviously, I texted that goal yesterday. They played against Pats in the Leinster Senior semi final, down in Inchicore a few weeks ago. And Noonan scored 2 goals. I was talking to Keith the next day. He said, "Mark, you want to see this?" But no, I've watched them. I've seen them at underage level, at under 17s and stuff like that for Pats. He said, "Mark, you want to see?" He said, "There's one thing when you're seeing him against lads his age, when he's playing against lads that are older and a bit more physical, and he scored 2 goals and he's well capable,
So
and
much more impressive. So much.
and then they went to play
Yeah.
Moctus in the final there last week. They won, I think it was 2 or 3-1, but he would
Mm.
have been playing against lads that would want to, get at him, and from the Leinster
Yeah.
Senior League and stuff. So, but yeah, he's an excellent player, big prospect, and he's definitely one for the future for the Irish senior team.
Awesome. Great to hear it as well. So, with all that rounded up, and obviously Sligo losing 2-0 to Bows yesterday as well, which was
Yes.
that was one I didn't expect. I thought Sligo might have won there, but
That I said it last week. They're such an
hit and
inconsistent
miss.
team, they're just real bumfuzzle. One week they go and beat Drogheda 7-0, and Drogheda were doing all right at the time, and then they go get beaten by someone like Dundalk, say the next week or something. That's just been mad this season. There's been no consistency with them whatsoever.
Ted, get him a cap in the senior team now before we lose him. Yeah.
He's born and bred over here. Ted, he's born and bred. Don't be worrying.
Listen, they can find passports and grannies over there just as good as we can.
Like we did in the 90s.
Yeah, make no mistake about that. So to summarize all that, then that's where we land at the moment. Shell's still in pole position, but what a run in we have at the moment. What you feeling on it at the moment? Because we're going down probably as far as Pats, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's as far as we can go. Obviously, I think with Pats, maybe the end of the season is coming just a bit too quick. They needed maybe another 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
to be left to play. Maybe if it had been 5 games to go in this position, it might look different. What are you thinking overall? I mean, obviously, I know your heart and all the shells and all that kind of thing, but what you
I,
thinking?
listen, if you're looking for an outside bet, you're looking at Shamrock Rovers because Derry obviously have Pats and ourselves the last 2 games. Obviously, we need to be drawn at home on Friday night. Massive game. Need to take 3 points, bring it to the last game of the season because obviously Rovers are playing an already relegated Dundalk, so you'd expect them to win that. So it's up to ourselves. It's ours to lose. I think Derry are going to drop points against Pats. On Friday. I really do. I think Pats could win that, and obviously then you're going into the last game, and Pats are looking strong. But yeah, from our point of view, I think it's in our hands. But yeah, Rovers be the one I'd be watching out for as well.
Well, just looking at that, I mean, if you win on Friday night, you win the league, don't you? That's it.
No, that's for 22
Yeah,
points.
because you're 2
Well,
ahead.
it depends if Derry beat
Oh, if
Pats, they'll go to the last game,
oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So, but I can see. I'm hoping Pats win. I can see them taking points off them, but you just don't know with this league. You know yourself, because you look at the last 10 games. Shells and Derry, just been all over
The
the place.
race to the bottom, not the race
It's
to the top.
it was unbelievable because you look at Shells and Derry the way they started, right, and you look at Pats. Pats when Kenny came in couldn't buy a win, and in fairness to Stephen Kenny, I know Morris isn't a big fan of him, whatever, but he came in and said it's going to take him a while, and boy was he right because he got them on a run. Look at the run they got together. It's like opposites. Like Shells started really well and have ended bad, where it was opposite with Pats. So,
Well,
but I
six
do.
wins on the bounce in this league is massive,
Oh,
massive
100%.
in
100%.
terms of
Because
form.
anyone can beat anyone on their day and stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping Pats get something out of Derry on Friday night. I really
Well, you
do. But
see, as a content creator and a YouTuber, I wanted to go to the last day.
last game. So you want Derry to win on Friday. Listen, it's not against the realms of possibility. Obviously, Rory Higgins is under a lot of pressure, particularly from the Derry fans, the way they've been playing. They've been playing very, very deep over the last few games. They're almost inviting teams onto them to score. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
very frustrating for the fans knowing that, they're in grasp of maybe overtaking Shells.
Yeah, I watched that Derry game the other night as well. They really, in the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they really go for it and put teams under pressure.
Yeah.
But just it can be very frustrating for them at times as well. But yeah,
100%.
against Dundalk, that was an obvious one, let's say.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a quick chat about Europe coming up this week. Obviously, Tuesday we've Arsenal versus Shakhtar. Big game in the Champions League for them. Be interesting to see the team that they put out there. But you would expect them at the Emirates to get the job done. But Shakhtar at times can be quite a dangerous team.
Particularly over there as well. As a United fan, we found that out over the years. Obviously Real Madrid and Dortmund's going to be a big game. Villa against Bologna would be decent enough. You'd expect Villa on the run that they're on to take something there. But
Villa Park as well. Villa Park
yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah. Atalanta against Celtic gonna be a tough game for Celtic. Really is. I think that Dortmund game would have, like that Dortmund game
Knocked the
was
stuffing out of
unbelievable.
him, didn't it? Knocked the stuffing out of him.
Gee,
A real
well,
reality check, wasn't it?
yeah. And then obviously, listen, the big one on Wednesday night is obviously Barca against Bayern. That's going to be a massive game. No disrespect to Leipzig and Liverpool, obviously, but massive game. City, you'd expect to be Prague at home. Obviously, I think he's going to make some changes. Obviously, the likes of Grealish and Foden might start and stuff like that. So,
well, Leipzig obviously give a good account from themselves, especially at home and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And it'll be a good opportunity now to look at, because Leipzig are one of those teams that produce lots of players to sell and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see now when they play against Liverpool how they match up against Premier League quality and stuff like that. So,
And
there's a lot of players in the summer were linked.
I believe the Liverpool fans are only getting charged €12 in or something to the game. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I think they capped it at either 12 or 15 or something like that. I think it was, and stuff like that. Yeah, that was Agent Jurgen doing. That was Agent Jurgen doing his work after
Too
taking
right.
up the post, you know.
What's he
Mourinho
saying?
got to get some revenge on United. Round, are we getting the knee slide? Are we getting the knee slide? Last
Dealers.
minute dagger from
Bro,
Fred or
that happens.
Amrabat.
Dealers be getting a kick in the cock and balls if that happens, I tell you that. I was at
Fre-
that Porto game where Mourinho did the knee slide against us, yeah. I'll never forget
yeah. Amrabat with the assist and Fred with the late winner.
that.
Come over the
I
one
tell
and
you,
Mourinho absolutely losing it.
I've seen a lot of warnings for the United fans as well. Obviously, gone in Istanbul and stuff. You know they're bleeding mad over there.
Very, very careful over there, boys. Alkmaar could beat Spurs. Alkmaar, Troy Parrott, ex
But Troy's on
Spurs,
form. He's on form. He's
ex
on
Spurs
form,
with a
man.
point to prove. Ex Spurs with
Um,
a point to prove.
he is. No, I think. I don't think he was involved in any of the goals.
Yeah, Acers just
On
said it.
Saturday night.
Shout Acers. Jose will see Shaw and punch the fucking noggin off. I don't think you're going to be saying
Will
Shaw,
Jose
are
be
you?
in the hospital? Will Jose be in the hospital, Ted? Because that's where fucking Shaw is all the time.
I was looking the other day at analysis of him. Man, the injury record is
Oh,
shocking.
it's a joke. So
Shocking.
remember, Ted will tell you, he was injured with us. Then he was fit enough to go to the England training camp for one of the international breaks there, and then he came back injured. And you're looking at it going, what the fuck? Like,
The only reason I think that Acers is because it's at Tottenham. If this
yeah,
was in at Alkmaar, I'd give them a much better chance. Those Dutch teams, they don't always travel well, and that's the only thing that
feel
might
like their
make a special
managers.
trip into that.
Feel like some of their managers.
West Ham will be difficult for United on Sunday. No, they won't.
Always,
No, they won't.
always tricky game against West Ham. Always a tricky game.
Is that home or away? Away.
I think we're
Must be.
away.
You were at home. You were
Sure.
at home, aren't you? You
Yeah,
were at
me
home
sure.
against
I
Brentford.
think it's 2 o'clock away on Sunday.
No kudos, obviously.
Yeah, way. Yeah, no Kyrgios, obviously. Yeah, but yeah, we're way 2 o'clock. Chelsea, Newcastle, 2 o'clock. Palace, Spurs, West Ham United, and then user on a 4:30 against Arsenal.
Big up,
How are you,
Henry. Fair
Henry?
play. Good stuff. I like that.
Fair play, man.
Another big win for Forest. He's ticking them off now, that's for sure. Round Shaw is better off being injured sitting at home than losing week in, week out.
Bro, seriously, wait till I see you tomorrow, man. Did he not
Right.
tell you Rowan was doing karaoke and this and that there last week, singing Aslan Crazy World, drinking 10 points of Guinness? He keeps that
Jesus.
one quiet, doesn't he?
Just an average night out.
Just your average night out for Rowan Dara.
Shaw is a chancer, lads. Not injured
100%.
anywhere near as much, and he's claimed just doesn't want to play. Maybe he's getting paid
100%.
handsomely for it. Sky are showing Chelsea versus Newcastle on Sunday. We don't have to worry about things like that.
Yeah,
We're in the
sure.
know.
I'll be
We're in the
watching. I'll
know.
be watching the United game. Don't you worry.
Did you not say our two friends, one dodgy box and the other first stick? Well,
They're fans of the show, Acers, let's just say.
yeah, big up, Henry. Thanks for that. Just came in to give a like and pooped. Good night.
Fair
Have
play,
a good
Henry.
one. Have a good one. Thanks, Henry. Thanks for dropping in. Make sure you're subbing to Henry's channel, folks, as well. Right, let's round out with Ref Watch.
Hey.
Let's start with United. Let's talk about it. We could start with Saliba, but let's start with United. The lit getting split open like an Easter egg off a knee. Blood gets traded on the pitch, then gets traded off the pitch, then comes back on and is instructed by the referee to go off at a clinical, really important time, a critical time in the game. Bournemouth getting a corner. What's your thinking on this as a ref? Letter of the law, we know and all that. I spoke to Darren about it. But what's your thinking on this?
He has to go off. Any sign of blood on a player, he can't be on the field of play. So I understood, and I think if you watch the last time, he actually puts his jersey over his head to wipe it. So he also has blood on the jersey now, as well as dry blood on the top of his head. So he has to go off. Now, what I will say is that I would be blaming the physio and stuff like that. They should have put a bandage around, a bit of Vaseline and a bandage around his head.
One of those cap yokes things, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they shouldn't have sent him back on. Particularly, right? It's okay if you send him back on once, right, and he comes off, but to do it twice and you still haven't done that, like me and my dad were looking at it going, "What the hell?" The referee, in my eyes, done absolutely nothing wrong. He has to go by the laws. He he's in charge of the health and safety of the player. He has to take that into consideration.
And
So
also,
and
and also, with it being a blood injury, you have to
he,
take in the health and safety of all the other players as well. So
exactly, like I said, if you have any sign of blood on the field of play, you have to go off. There's no doubt about it. And then obviously there's times where you have to change your jersey because you can't have blood on your jersey as well. But I think for me, the physio should have worked better and faster in that situation. And we might now listen. Who's to say Bournemouth wouldn't still score from the corner? Because, like I said, Dallow's picking them up anyway, and it's
it was a
Dallow. It was
cracking run.
Dallow's
It was a
fault.
cracking run from Pinnock. But I think
It
when they
was.
showed it the way he ran into the lit area, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And I think I can understand why United fans were frustrated, but I don't think the call
I,
was wrong.
no, it wasn't. And I think, to be honest with you, obviously, whoever's obviously Premier Sports and all, we're covering the game and Sky, it's an angle for them, isn't it? Like, when it happens the way it does, it is an angle for them. For me, there was no issue. The referee didn't do anything wrong. He was well in his rights, to make him lead the field of play because it's in the law and stuff like that. So I know, as a United fan, I knew straight away. I was saying it to my dad. He thought the referees done wrong. We were watching it there on Saturday afternoon, and it was just bad defending, like I said, from Dallow in the end.
Yeah. It was the only thing, I suppose, you bring it in and it's a fire that you get in your belly. You come out second half and then you were a totally different team. So
100%.
maybe it worked in your favour. And Darren says, well, Darren was saying to me, well, you don't necessarily want to get down 1-0 going in at half time. No, you don't. But if that's the fire that goes into your belly over something like that you feel like you were hard done by, cool.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, some teams can go in 1-0 down at half time and, the heads will drop and stuff like that. So, we didn't. We actually really improved in the second half,
And also, I don't think I wouldn't have fancied heading that ball with that head injury anyway. Would you? Would have split him like a coconut.
Yeah.
I'd say, especially with the speed in which that cross came in as well, because it was a bullet header from Pinnock. But yeah, I looked at the medical staff and I said, look, you've been dabbing at this 3 times now. Get it fucking sorted, like
100%. But like I said, Dallow, like I was saying earlier on Ted, when we were talking about the match, from a young age, you're taught from schoolboy level, from a corner, pick up your man and stick with your man. And he didn't. He was with him for a second and then he let him run off, into the crowd, and he got a free header in the 6-yard box,
Yeah. Next up, then, let's talk about the City goal to win it. John Stones, Bernardo Silva in on Jose Sa. What was your thinking on this? My immediate reaction was it was a goal.
Yeah, I thought the same, and I still think the same. Obviously, when the corner's taken in, Silva is. We talked about it in the first half. He was doing it throughout the game. In the first half, they're having a bit of a laugh about it. But obviously, he's on top of Sa. He knows the ball's coming in. He can't be in an offside position because you can't be in an offside position from a corner, throw in or goal kick. So he knows himself. And what we talked about as well is he only becomes active when John Stones makes the header. So when he does, he's coming back from the offside position, but he's actually ducked down, which is very clever because he's not in the eye line of Jose Sa then, you can't argue, yes, he's from when they're setting up the corner, he's like jostling them, so Sa can't really take up a position, but Silva knows he can't be offside from the corner until it's hit by someone else, a touch is taken by another player, I think it was very cleverly done by City, and in fairness, when I think initially it wasn't given, I thought there might have been a foul in around the 6-yard box or somewhere, because how there's always pulling and pushing and stuff like that. So that's where I thought it was, but obviously the goal was then given, so it was good work by VAR in my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose the only thing I would argue with is as the corner was taken, Sa was dealing with Bernardo Silva, so he couldn't get himself set. So in that case, is there a ruling there or something like that? You know what I mean? But other than that, he wasn't in the line of vision or anything like that. And actually, I was talking to Dino about it yesterday. Dino was convinced he was obstructing Sa. And I said, Dino, if you look at the head on it, he's miles away from Sa when the header happens. He's nowhere near him. Like
he's well away from him, and he's not in the he ducks down now. He's small enough as it is, like so. But he does duck down.
And some people were saying that the header was going down towards Bernardo Silva. The header went into the roof of the net. It didn't
Yeah,
go
yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
near Bernardo
So
Silva. So
much power in it,
yeah,
you know. Obviously, Salah didn't
yeah.
really have a chance, you know.
The,
So
the sickener for Wolves is it's the 95th minute, and you've
yeah, yeah.
played so well to
Oh
get
well.
to where
Yeah,
you got to. The
absolutely.
problem is, I was saying, you don't get that reaction. If that's the 25th minute, you don't
Yeah.
get the reaction. It's the fact that
No,
it
no.
was so late. And like we've
The
seen it
game.
so many times, and many times have we seen it with City. Look at the situation when they played Arsenal and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
absolutely bust your backside 100% for 90 odd minutes, and then you walk away with nothing, and it's a
Exactly. Yeah.
sickener. But
So
listen, I
frustrating.
said to people, this is why these guys become champions.
Yeah.
This is what they do. I think the biggest issue with that City goal is that I think most believe it would have been disallowed if it was the other end. Whether that speculation is right or wrong, we've seen it happen. We have, but we can't. I think the difficulty for me, I think the more frustrating thing was just because it was so late in the game, and Wolves
Yeah.
thought they had chalked up a point, and it
And
was
like you
more
said,
that than anything else. We can
ah,
never tell if it
100%.
happened the other end whether it would or wouldn't have been given. We can surmise on it and speculate. And Gary O'Neill in his post match presser alluded to it. Is there a subconscious leaning towards the bigger teams without them even knowing? And he was using the word subconscious because obviously he didn't want to absolutely rally the refs and the VAR out of it and
Yeah.
get fined or suspended or whatever the hell it is, So I think it was more that than anything. This is why City will be 5 in a row. Well, not necessarily will they be 5 in a row, but certainly in the past, that will to go right till the whistle and try and get something is huge. Saliba.
Yeah, listen. I thought it was a sounding off straight away in terms of where you look where the ball has been played into, and there's a I think was Ben White the closest player, but he was a fair distance
He was
away. Like
way over. He was way
he
over.
was
Yeah.
way over, you know.
Mhm.
So for me, Saliba kind of knew what he was doing and stuff. He knew the Bournemouth player who was the striker. Oh, what's his name? Anyway, he's so fast. You see it in the game, the pace on him as well. So when he was about to take off, he made contact. He could have been through on goal because it's right in the center of the field of play. And the
Evan
referee
Nielsen.
had that's it.
Evan Nielsen.
That's it.
Brown just came in with Evan
Um,
Nielsen. Yeah.
that's it. So yeah, I just felt he Saliba. It might have looked like a tangle of legs, but I think
No,
he
he
knew what
grabbed
he
him.
was
He
doing
grabbed
in
him by
terms.
the shoulder.
Yeah,
He grabbed him
and
by the
then he
shoulder.
knew exactly what he was
Yeah.
doing. So for me, it dogs like it can be a dog zone and stuff like that. Denying an obvious goal scorer an opportunity. So I felt it was a sending off.
So in terms of that, I mean, we've seen a lot of cards being handed out this weekend for jersey tugs and stuff like that, and we've a
Yes,
few of them mentioned up there as well. So obviously the PGMOL put it out there this week. Okay, any jersey tugging, we're going in on it this week. Don't worry about lads kicking balls away or delaying free kicks or anything.
this week
That
is
was
that.
last month's. That was
But
last month's narrative. This month is
like
jersey tugging.
like I said, Jordan Oya got away with it at Leicester against Southampton.
We got away with it yesterday against Chelsea as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, big time. What did you make? What did you make then of the Jota one? Because the talk yesterday was if the Saliba one is one, how come the Jota one isn't one when
I
he got pulled down? Now I
see when
know
you when you look at the.
Caldwell was on his right hand
I was
side,
just going to say that, and the ball is actually kind of going to the right, so it's kind of going to the corner slash touch
away
line.
from goal.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at the two stills, it might look the same, but when you're watching the actual video, you have to look at the run of the ball. That's what the referee and the VAR be looking at, where the ball is going to. And the closest player, like I said, Caldwell is much closer than Ben White was with the Arsenal one.
Mm.
So and if you look at it, the ball is actually moving closer to the Chelsea player than it would be to Jota himself, where in the other instance it was going to be going closer to the Bournemouth player. So you have to take all these on board. And yeah, for me, I think the referees made the right decision there in not sending them off,
Yeah, and I was hoping that as well in terms of one thing I said on the preview is I didn't want Brooks to spoil the game really and stuff like that and all, because I think in 6 games he's branded 32 yellow cards and he's only refed 1 Premier League game. So
It's mad, isn't it?
there you go. Yeah, absolutely crazy. What was the other one? The Sancho penalty call with Trent. The little stamp on the
I
foot.
I actually thought it was a penalty. Yeah, I thought it was obviously Sancho was kind of, I wouldn't say he was looking for it, but just the way he was playing there, he was almost inviting Trent to come in, and obviously I think it was a Trent's right foot that connected with Sancho, and he went
Yeah.
down there. And I personally would have given a penalty for that one myself. Like, you know, were you
So would
worried?
that
Were you
be?
worried when you were watching it?
Do you know it didn't, because it happened so quick? I didn't focus on it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
it happened so quick, and then even the VAR review was like done, and it was like it
Over,
was
yeah.
move on kind of thing. So would you say subconsciously now you would have give that penalty to Chelsea? You being like a United fan, you know what I mean?
No. As a referee, Deedles will tell you when it comes to refereeing, they say I don't really wear colours. Like, we've been out watching enough matches together. But no,
Is that Gary O'Neill? Gary, I asked him for you. I asked him for
Gaz.
you. This is what he's saying. I asked him.
What? I don't know what the lads think in the chat there, but yeah, I thought it could, and like, it's one of those, if it's given, it wouldn't be overturned either. Like, you know.
And Saliba as well. It was an interesting pick as well. But obviously, when you look at Arsenal, the automatic pick, Saliba's in there with Gabriel. That they're not going to change that up much. But Saliba did have a poor international break as well. So
Yeah.
maybe there was a little bit of frustrating there and getting caught.
Yeah.
The one thing I would have said about your man Evan Nielsen as well is, like, he hasn't been like banging them in or anything like that. He's been kind of missing a lot of opportunities as well. So maybe should have rode his luck, and as the boy said, let him ride it out and stuff like that. And between himself and Raya, they might have been able to smother it up, you know.
Ted, who you're replacing Saliba with for the fancy next week? I've already changed it around, so let me know.
Well, it won't be Nathan Collins.
Definitely
That's
not.
for sure.
Or Anderson. Or Anderson.
Yeah. Ted will come in. Ted mightn't have changed them yet. Ted likes to study the form. Yeah, Ted is very he's very contrived in his moves and fantasy football.
I done it today just before we came on there. I said to Niall, I was with a very sick Holly, my 1.5-year-old has chicken pox, so I was with her for most of the day, so we're just fluting around on it, like, you know. So because usually I do it on a Friday, then, you know, that sort of way. So
yeah,
I've changed a few of them around anyway.
Yeah, what other one did I want to ask about? There was nothing in the Curtis one, was there? The clash and the flip with
No, 100%, no, not for me.
Did I have any others? I think that was it, really, wasn't it?
Fraser, obviously Southampton, I thought, yes, because obviously he's denied Vardy. He's pulled the shirt, and Vardy, if he doesn't pull the shirt, Vardy's tapping that over the line. There's no doubt about it, like, you know. So again, that was dog's out for me.
Yeah, I think players always buy penalties, but sometimes people think it's okay, and other times it's trying to buy it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, Rowan, we have to talk about Kudus, of course. He had a mad one yesterday. On a mad one.
Do you know,
I have to say, Mickey van de Ven went down really soft for a big central defender. And then
he could have been sent off twice for some of his antics, like, you know.
100%. And then to really top it off me, I realised then Richarlison was on the ground, and that just made my day.
He nearly knocked the referee over as well.
Yeah,
like I said, I was over my man Daz on Saturday, and we were watching it, and obviously my man's a West Ham fan, so we were watching it, and myself and my dad couldn't believe what was unfolding. Like, you know, we were looking at it going, is he okay? Because not only that, right, him and Van de Ven, you know, get into the scuffle, and he kicks out with Van de Ven on the ground. Van de Ven gets up, he pushes him in his face. Then he pushes over Richarlison. Then he goes around and pushes someone else in the face. So I'm looking at him going, how many opportunities do you want to get sent off here? And then when obviously the referee initially just cautions himself and Van de Ven, me dad are kind of looking at each other going, surely this is going to be reviewed. And obviously it was. And it was one of those, just pick which one you want to send them off for, you know. It was unbelievable.
He got pushed into Richarlison.
Well, like,
oh, God.
If you're the West, you see some of his teammates going to pull him over, and I'm sure they were looking, going, "What are you doing, still swinging out? Like, I'm trying to drag you away from this." And listen, even when he got the yellow card, you could see it in his face. He knew what was going to come. The game got stopped for the review. Then,
the minute they put the yellow card out there, they were on to him straight away. Listen, you need to go look at the monitor here. There's been a proper battle royal here. This is
big time.
WWF levels here, like, So yeah, he
There
absolutely
ain't no
lost it.
finger poke of doom on that one. So, but
No, absolutely
Van de
not.
Ven kind of went down like Nash, all right. But yeah, no, you just knew straight away he'd be sent off, and he knew it. You could see, you always know by a player by the look on their face whether he knew he was getting sent off. And yeah, lucky enough for us that he's going to be suspended now for the match on Sunday.
And if you're going to punch somebody, you may as well level about 4 or 5 lads. Yeah. Listen, it was never in question, was it? It was never in question. They could have picked any one of 4 or 5 things. And I know Round there said he pushed him into Richardson. He probably turned around to his teammate and said, "Push me now and slam me into this lad," kind of thing.
Myself and my dad were only talking about this then after the match, right? It was a few little bitch slaps, let's just call them, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember
That's
years ago?
Van de Ven hitting the deck, like
That's what I'm saying. But do you remember years ago, like, remember Dyer and Lee Bowyer boxing the head off each other, and they were teammates and all, proper boxing. Like, these were little bitch slaps, like, do you know what I mean? But still, you can't do that on the field of play, and obviously enough, that's the reason he was sent off.
Yeah, but it was kind of like, if I'm going down, I'm bringing the rest of you with me.
It's like, do you remember? It was like Joey Barton got sent off for QPR against City that time, the last game of the season, and he tried to get a lot of City players sent off, but they were having none of it.
Cool, that's doing a Francis Ngannou. What a fight at the weekend, Francis Ngannou. He laid your man out on the ground and he knocked him out from top position, lying down flat. And when your man got up off the canvas, there was a lump on his head like that, one of those Thomas or whatever. And it was like someone that hit him with a hammer in a cartoon or something like that. He was smashed. I was delighted for Ngannou as well, trying to get over obviously the loss of the kid and stuff like that. And also, tough. Don't know if Mark saw that. I think I'm going to hold on to Saliba. I only have one transfer. I think it might be needed elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I had two, Ted. That's why I looked at it. I was talking to Rowan on Friday. I had a bad week the previous week, and I didn't change it this week. So we made 2 changes. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
That's even better, Rowan, isn't it? Because even his own players don't like him. You know what I mean? That's even better again. I can't.
Well, I thought you were a big fan of him. I thought you were a big fan of him.
Stop.
He's the most non-Brazilian Brazilian player ever.
And you know what? It's not a Spurs thing, and it's not an Everton thing, and it's not a Brazilian thing. It's none of those things. I just don't like the guy. I just think he's a horrible human being. Really that time when he scored that time, and then Jota went up the other end and scored the winner. Oh my God! You never see me celebrate. I think the last time I celebrated that was the win against Barca or Istanbul. It was incredible. Incredible. Le Pigeon.
I'll always remember that night. I always remember the Barcelona game because Georgia was born the day before, so I was in the hospital watching it on the phone. I couldn't believe my eyes, like, it was unbelievable. Like, and loads of Liverpool fans working in the hospital as well, can I say?
And not delivering babies.
No.
Hold off there. Take her off the gas there.
Here's a blast from the past. Do you know who I ended up sitting with and having a cup of tea with after that Liverpool-Barcelona game and the security hut outside? Mick Hughes.
No way.
Yeah. He was on the security hut outside the kiln.
He dropped into me a few months ago, actually, and we had a chat and all. I hadn't seen him in ages. I think the last time I seen him, he was down in Pennies.
What, Pennies? Yeah, that's the last time I'd seen him before that, and then I walked in and he's in the kiln, like, you know.
He has a tattoo of himself on his back. The man is comedy gold. No, he's
Richarlison or Mick Hughes?
Richarlison. Definitely not Mick Hughes. But yeah, that's it, folks. Another show in the bag. I will be back tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Weekly. We're going to be doing a preview for OTT's 10th anniversary. We're going to be talking about one Samantha Irwin leaving WWE. Big shock announcement.
Dennis's niece, is it?
That's Dennis's niece. Yeah. Eddie's daughter from Formula One. But yeah, R9, Le Pigeon, and Neymar.
That's why I said Irwin. Sorry, you said Irvine. Sorry, I don't know. I'm not down with that.
There you go.
So I texted the other night, didn't I? What was I watching on Saturday night? I sat down and I watched the Royal Rumble 97.
Royal Rumble 97.
And then after, I just watched the Rumble itself, and then after I was sitting there, I was like, I'll watch. So I watched the 98 Rumble straight after. So I'm going to watch the 99 Rumble tonight. I have to get back into it, lads.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that Donald Trump and on Undertaker's podcast and Kane and all that kind of stuff. Crazy stuff. Roy Kane, Mickey Hughes, and Larry Murphy.
in that order. But I'll try to do that thing as well. I'm back with the Leinster lads now on Wednesday. So we had a good day with them last week. Yeah, no, we had a good day with them last week. I fitted up Leo Cullen and stuff like that, and it was good crack.
Yeah, but like I said, it doesn't necessarily. If you can get him, great. If you can't get him, any of them will do.
No,
She's just mad into. She was delighted. Actually, I sent her on the trophy pictures, and she was delighted.
Yeah, I was like a kid in a candy shop. We went in, and the trophy cabinet was there, and I was just taking pictures, and I was like, "That looks like the FAI Cup and all." And one of the lads come over. And then I was chatting to his guy Easterby. He looks after all the lads now, so I was fitting him up.
Yeah.
And we were chatting about the trophies, and I was hoping he'd say, "Here, I'll take one out, but maybe this week." So we done half the squad last week. We're doing half the squad this week as well. So I think they had a good win.
How often do they get fitted for suits? And how often do they get suits?
It depends. It's usually every 2 years, so they have the same suit for 2 years. They went with the Eden Park ones before, but we have a nice suit there. We tried getting a shirt and a jumper to wear for the colder nights, and then like a kind of rain overcoat as well. So but lads, yeah, man. I was saying to Ron, we were given till 3:00, and a guy came into us and was like, "Lads, about half 2." We said, "Lads, if no one comes up, you start making our way out." So we had the rails to suit, and we were going out the door at 3:00, and the rails won't fit in the lift, so we're going to carry them down the stairs. This lad comes in. Is it Jack McCarthy or John McCarthy or something? He's only 22, goes, but when I say he's about 6'4", and he's that, he goes, "Oh lads, I need to get fit." I was like, so he takes off his top. You want to see him? He's built like an absolute brick shit house, like, you know. I think he's out. He was telling us he's out with a hamstring injury at the minute, but he was down in the gym because the room we were in, there was a glass window down, looking down onto the gym, and obviously we had our lad Aaron with us doing marketing and stuff, but he was told he can't take any pictures or videos of the gym. You want to see some of the weights they were down there, cause holy shit. I thought we were good back in Coral Gym, remember, up in Benilda's that time?
Benilda's Health and Fitness.
Yeah.
PE class.
PE class. You want to see it, cause holy shit.
We don't lift any of them. They're screwed. No problem.
But no, well, I'll take a few more pictures. I'm back with them on Wednesday. So and listen, they're all sound. They're all absolute bang on.
Yeah, get one of them to give her a shout out. Better get mileage out. Better get mileage out of it then, you know.
I love it. No, I will. 100% I will.
Right, brilliant. So, folks, until next time, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video. The like, it's right down there. It doesn't cost you anything, but really helps us in getting the video out there. And I will talk to you tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Weekly. Sean's coming on to preview OTT with me. We'll be talking about Raw recap, SmackDown, TNA Bound for Glory. We'll be discussing Acers. You'll be glad to hear. I haven't looked at Halloween Havoc yet, but I will, amongst other things. And then Thursday, I'll be back on your screens with Dazzler, and you'll also get a preview tomorrow for the Leipzig game. So it's non-stop at the moment. So get down there and hit those likes. Until next time, cuz. Talk to you real soon.
Cheers, cuz. Cheers, lads.